All right, Paul, can you go ahead, Paul, and give me a little audio just to make sure that we're up and ready to roll here? You open that mic up for me and just give me a little audio. It's trying to come on. If you hit that lock key, Paul, it'll lock on. It'll stay on. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I can hear you loud and clear. Very good.
Super.
Okay, great.
Super.
Okay. Why don't Paul just take your?
Sorry about that, guys. Technology. So.
Yep. Paul, could you? Yeah, there you go. Well, let me kick this off, coaches. Thank you so much. First of all, for taking the time to come and join us here. I mean, this is all about loving this game of basketball and doing everything we can do to become better coaches. And so thanks for that and taking your time to do that. And also, just thanks for the patience. Sometimes we've got to work through some technology. We got started a few minutes late, but we're on and we're with you now. And if I could have some of my mentees from my College Coach Now program who are on the line, Coach Singer and Matt and Jimmy and all you guys, if could you kind of help me if something happens with either audio or video or something on the screen? Just let me know. I mean, that'll be a great help. I usually have a moderator, so very good. Well, this is Percentage Ball, brought to you by Online Basketball Clinics. Todd Kozinka from Vancouver, Canada, and myself, Randy Brown, CoachRB from Ames, Iowa, got together last year and began to put this program together. And thanks to Talk Fusion, who runs this program, this software, we are able to go worldwide and present basketball in a very interactive manner. And we have had a ball doing this. I absolutely love putting these programs together. And our special guest tonight is Paul Hoover from Pro Shot Shooting System, and he is going to knock your socks off with great information on a program that he is absolutely an expert in. He knows how to teach shooting. He's done it at every level and does it every day. And I've been so impressed not only with his knowledge of shooting, but just we've had a chance to visit Paul and I just about philosophy of the game and philosophy of teaching and where we're missing the boat in our country these days. And so it's been a pleasure to get to know him. And so get ready to take in Paul's program. Now, I want to also let you know that this is being recorded. And the reason we do this, first of all, is I want to evaluate myself because we want to make sure that we do the best possible job delivering what are now free online basketball clinics. So I will go back and take a look and see what we can change. And for some reason, I've got a little glitch in my video, so you can't see me up in the upper left-hand corner, which isn't all bad either. So, but we'll deal with that. We have, other than myself, we have two fantastic sponsors, and we want to thank them right off the bat, and we will revisit them and their products other than Paul's Pro Shot Shooting System. And he's actually going to offer a couple free ebooks before the end of this program. So please hang on to the end to be able to take advantage of both that and a free membership that I've got for everybody that's on this program. But we have a company called Coach's Eye with us, and they are an unbelievable application that you can put onto your phone, your iPad, and we'll get into the details later. It's fantastic stuff. Okay, they are beginning to partner with us, and we thank them so much for their sponsorship. And Cisco's Books and Videos up in Wisconsin, and Jim Blaine up there, and want to thank Jim for being a sponsor and supporting online basketball clinics and CoachRB. So as I run this, Paul, it always takes me a couple seconds to change these slides, go right into the agenda, and we are going to get moving. I'm going to let Paul introduce himself, and then I did talk about our sponsors for a second, what we're all about, online basketball clinics. We're going to get right into the program. If we have time, Paul, I'd love to take questions through the chat box from our coaches. And I have a brief survey that we'd like to have them take that would really help us. And I'll talk about my offer, and then you can talk about your free offer of the ebooks also as we move through the program. So, like I said, I met Paul just recently, but in this community of ours, in this basketball community of ours, I'm always meeting people online. I'm always meeting people in online meetings. And because of technology, it's really cool, and that's how we got together, actually, for the very first time. We'll revisit the sponsors later, but again, there's a little bit more information. Coach's Eye is sports video analysis applications, apps for all eye products and the Android. And, of course, Cisco Video, you're very familiar with, great instructional basketball videos. And then CoachRB is my website I'm very proud of, video-driven website. Hundreds of videos in 30 different categories, and I'm offering everybody to become a free member of that site tonight also. So we're going to go into percentage ball, but briefly, Paul, before that, could you just share with our coaches on the line your background and some of your fantastic experiences in the game so they know who they're spending some time with tonight? Paul, can you hear me? If you can hear me, Paul, go ahead and give a quick interview, or excuse me, a quick
for about
intro
15 years. I coached high school basketball, 17. A freshman B coach, worked my way all the way up to varsity head coach. Can
you're cutting in and out.
you hear me now?
Yes, I can now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, we can. Yep. Oh.
Okay, great. Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay, and everybody can hear me right now?
Yep, very good.
Okay, hey, great. Okay, thanks, guys. Hey, I just think the jump shot is one of the greatest things. And I basketball coach at Modern High School. Yep, everybody right? Okay. So, now I was a freshman basketball coach at Modern Day High School a long time ago. Job was to get to take all of our players to we had a shooting coach by the name of Des Flood, and that's kind of how I got involved. I really thought one of the cool things about shooting is you can actually teach a kid, you can actually see results within a matter of minutes. That was kind of the cool part about it. Basically, as I said, I coached for 17 years. I got 10 years ago, and I love it. Last year we did 500 25 states. So we definitely get around.
Well, Coach,
hearing me, correct?
Yeah, let's jump right into our program. And I'm the moderator, so when I think you're done with the screen, I'll try to stay ahead of you. But go ahead and begin to tell us about this whole concept of Moneyball and how it applies to basketball.
Are you there, Randy?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
I think, I'm a big fan of money that Billy Beane could change or try to change the game just by percentages. And I think the same thing. Can you hear me now? Okay. Of Moneyball and the game of basketball, or change the game of baseball, and it was the same way, especially when it comes to shooting. And that's kind of how we've kind of come up with this. We believe that if you take certain percentages, obviously it becomes better. And Randy, we're ready for the presentation, correct?
Yes, you bet. I'm on your second screen there, Paul.
I don't see it on my slide, I believe. Let me pull this up and see if you can help, because I don't see anything on this one. Okay. Line. So you want Andy?
Yeah, we're on our second screen right now.
Okay, great. What we're going to do is, like I said, I think with Moneyball, Billy Beane tried to change the game of basketball and percentages, and that.
Hey, Paul, let's try this. Let's disable your video. I think some of our participants are correct. Let's just go ahead and X out of your box and come back in and disable, or excuse me, enable only the audio. And I think that will really help. Thanks. Thanks, coaches, for hanging in there. Really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, Bill. And again, if this is something that we can't resolve, even though this isn't my subject area and not something I know nearly as well as Paul, I could certainly go through and run through the program for you. In fact, I think I'll do that right now, coaches. back to the initial screen, as you saw, the fantastic movie Moneyball about the Oakland A's and their success based on pretty much using numbers to figure out which players give their team the best opportunity to win is really one of the phenomenal things in sports. And so what Paul's done is taken that concept and, of course, taken his expertise in shooting and combined the two. So our screen says, think about last season. How much better would your team have been if they shot 5% better from the three-point line? Pure math, right? What if they shot 5% better from the foul line? You probably would have raised your scoring 5 points a game without a question. Now, I doubt if there's anybody here that wouldn't take 5 more points a game from last year's games, right? We all could. Okay. He says, let's take it a step further. What if you shot 10% better from the three-point line, from the free throw line? 10 more points a game. How could 10 points a game matter? Make our screen a little bit bigger here for you. How many more wins could you achieve? 5, maybe 7, maybe 10. How many games did you lose last year under 10 points? So you kind of think to yourself how many that is, and I'll tell you what, it's probably a bunch. I mean, games are so close these days. It is really amazing. So basketball success is based on shooting percentages and numbers. It really is a numbers game when you think about it. Whether it's offense or defense, it is really at the end gets down to if you look at the black and white stats at the end of a game, it is all about the numbers. Shooting percentage. I thought these were really, really interesting. During last season, the top 8 3-point percentage shooting teams at the men's Division I level all made it to postseason play. 6 went to the NCAA tournament, 2 went to the NIT. They all reached 20 wins. I think that's pretty interesting. And he makes a statement about defense. And again, the great thing about the game of basketball is, and I know everybody on this program, and we've got over 50 coaches with us, and you have all had success at your level. But yet the great thing about coaching a team sport is you get to decide where you put your emphasis. Is it the defensive end? Is it the offensive end? Are you one that maybe tries to mix and match and keep them fairly balanced? And that's what's really neat about the game. And you go out and play on game night, and you're going to play against somebody that's got their own philosophy. It's got their own blueprint on how to win games. And my background through 20 years of Division I coaching, at working for some great basketball coaches, and also knowing some great basketball coaches over in Eastern Iowa. When I was a young basketball coach learning the game, I probably learned more on the defensive end than the offensive end, and I'm probably behind a little bit offensively, but it's where I decided to stake my claim. And it's interesting because Paul takes a little bit different attitude and a perspective on this, which is just fine, because in the end, it's whoever has one more point than the other person. So that's why it's so fun. That's why the game is so awesome. So he talks about defense keeping you in the game. You can beat poor teams, beat mediocre teams, but his feeling is that shooting is what gets you over the top. And I'll never forget when I was a young coach, working again over in Eastern Iowa as an assistant high school coach and a JV coach. I was at a clinic, and I heard Hubie Brown say that scoring covers a multitude of sins. And ever since then, I've really come to kind of appreciate what Hubie was saying that night. I didn't really understand it at the time being a young coach, but I sure do now, and I think there's a lot to that. Okay, he wants now to focus on getting the players and the team shooting percentages up and help you win more games. And how do we do that? And again, I'm just taking you through the slides. There's a lot here I certainly can't expound on for you. because it's Paul's expertise, but I will do it best I can. Okay, he talks about 4 directions a player can miss. And you know, when I talked to Paul, we got talking about this whole area of misses. And when you watch your players, are you cognizant of where they're missing, how they're missing? You know, long, short, right, left, spin, bad follow through, you know, the whole thing. Are you analyzing? And you know, I don't think kids do, for the most part. I think they shoot and it either goes in or it doesn't. And he's really opened my eyes to really analyzing whether they're right or left, whether they're long or short. And I think keeping stats, of course, over a long period of time would certainly help, because the numbers would have a little bit more credence if you did it over a week's worth of time, 3 weeks, a month, versus just maybe one practice. To make a player more consistent shooter, you need to find out the direction that a player is missing, discover how to fix it. Okay, and you need a doctor diagnose the problem. I think that's pretty good. And certainly, you know, we can tell kids, and you know, a lot of what I do in my mentoring and working with coaches and the clinics that I'm at and working with coaches individually on the floor and in small groups, you know, I like to challenge them because, and I think we have to listen to ourselves speak. Because let's just talk about shooting, because that's a topic tonight. If we're telling our players, hey, listen, you know, Bill, you were short 3 out of the last 4 shots. Come on. Get the ball over the front of the rim. Here we go. You know, you missed one right, you missed one left. Well, that's all good. Through observation, you're just basically giving them feedback on what you saw. But can we take it the next level? Do we have the expertise and the knowledge to be able to tell a player, okay, you shot it short 17 out of 30 times. Okay, let's break your shot down, all right, and let's really work on getting the ball over the front of the rim. Here are 3 things that I want you to really work on. You know, and that's what kids need, and that's what good coaches do. So we can tell them what they're doing right or wrong, okay, but can we correct it? And, you know, that's what these programs are for. You know, we're here tonight to learn. I can't tell you how much I've learned from Paul Hoover. I mean, it's amazing, because he's so good at what he does. And that's what we're here for. So elementary and middle school players generally miss a high percentage of shots to the side. That's interesting. I would have thought it would have been short. Players progress from elementary, middle, high school, and finally college, and the pro levels because of a lot of factors. Their shot begins to change. Varsity players often miss more short, and college and professional players predominantly miss short. Now understand, this comes from an unbelievable amount of research and years of experience, and so these numbers don't lie. These are right on, based on, I'm sure, hundreds of thousands of shots. So there you can just kind of take a look on the girls and the women's side of the game, the percentage of misses in the different grades. And by the way, if you're trying to write all this down, you may or may not be able to grab everything off the slides as I go through them. But remember, each of you are going to get a version of the recorded program, and so you're going to be able to go back through this. In fact, you can fast forward and rewind, which is really cool, and go back and take a look at this again. And the numbers don't lie. The other thing you're going to be able to do is correspond with Paul, which I think will be real beneficial for you, because after you get a chance to watch tonight and maybe watch the recording, or you sit with your staff and watch it, you've got access to Paul, and I will share his email with you at the end of the program. And coaches, my coaches, if I it looks like I'm going to forget, make sure you remind me, because I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to keep in touch with this guy. He is truly one of the best that there is at what he does, and I don't think anybody's shooting has all the answers in shooting. So take advantage of a guy like Paul. Okay, here's the boys and the men's numbers, percentage of misses, side misses, and short misses. And that's really an inverse type of picture there, isn't it? Third to fourth graders miss on the side 75% of the time, and professionals only 15%, whereas short shots, 10% for the younger kids and 70% for professionals. Very interesting. Paul says the worst way to miss is to the sides because there's virtually little chance of the ball getting a bounce on the rim. So true. I mean, when you miss it on the side, you're pretty much done. Whereas a long or a short gives us a little bit more opportunity for it to go in. Now, Paul's big on the finger, the index finger. And I don't know about coaches out there listening tonight. I know this is a concept I've heard of, but I've never really researched. And so therefore I've never really used it in my teaching of shooting. But again, I'm all ears when he and I began to talk. And so I've really tried to hone in on these concepts and learn myself. Solution number one is the finger. The index finger is your straightest finger. And therefore, it makes sense to dominate with your straightest finger. All right? So, let's take that concept into the next page. And he talks about Kobe Bryant and the finger. And he has telling me about this whole project of his. He has relentlessly not only worked with players, but watched players. Okay? And he says whatever finger is the furthest down on the follow-through is the finger that dominates the release. Okay? The finger truth, he calls it. Okay, he says say no to the cookie jar. And I think that's interesting. I mean, I've used that for how many ever years. And again, everybody has an opportunity to teach this game the way they feel it needs to be taught. And Paul says no. When a player shoots the cookie jar, he or she will be inconsistent. The ball will roll off any of four fingers at any time. Now that part makes a lot of sense to me. So instead of choosing the one dominant finger, we're basically, if we reach our hand in the cookie jar, he's saying we let a lot of different fingers affect the flight of the ball. This is a list, pretty impressive list, huh? Of those who use this concept of the finger. And as I look through that list, I see some awful good basketball players and some very good shooters. And I think what would be kind of neat if there was a game on tonight, I think the first thing I would do is I would watch one of these players, Jeremy Lin, Iguodala, Elton Brand, Grant Hill, Kobe, Dwayne Wade. I'd love to watch these guys tonight and see if I can pick up on that in the ball game. And of course, he's done his research, and so I'm quite sure I would. But as we're watching basketball games, that's another thing that we could really pay attention to, and just to see how that fits into our philosophy. He's talking about if the finger goes to the right or the left of the target, a player will make it 1% of the time. The finger stays straight to the basket, the player will make it 50 to 80% of the time. I mean, massive difference, right? Following through at the target, he says, with that dominant finger is what sends the ball on the proper flight. Solution number two is the turn, he calls it. Many coaches say it's about squaring the feet to the basket. He's heard coaches say if you don't square your feet, you can't make the shot. Is this correct? Let's see what Paul says. He says the best shooters square their shooting shoulder and hip when they shoot. Square their shooting shoulder and hip when they shoot. In other words, the best players turn their feet. Interesting. And I see Bill in the chat box with the comment "nope," and that's cool. That's what this is about. We certainly If that nope is about disagreeing with one of those points, I think that's really good because that's what this game is about. Um, we're all picking the best opportunity for us to teach this game. Basketball shooting legends over the past 50 years have turned their feet on their shot. Now that's a new one to me, but it's something he certainly really believes in. He says the answer is simple. Your shoulder's actually on the side of your body. Think about it. What makes more sense, squaring your shoulders and hips or squaring your feet? And really kind of keep an eye on the chat box, because as you guys have comments, please throw them in there. Absolutely. Agree, disagree, to make another point, possibly. And hey, if you guys want to correspond with somebody else that's on this program, we've got over 50 coaches from all over the country. If you've got somebody that you want to exchange some information with, or get an email address or whatever, hey, get in that chat box and holler out at somebody. That's what this is about. This game's about sharing. I was fortunate. Nobody kept anything from me. In fact, I was inundated with way more stuff than I could ever handle, because I had some of my mentors, some of the more established, outstanding coaches where I grew up, that was willing to share everything with me. So please, let's share this game. The answer is simple. I got to go to the next screen. I'm sorry. I got going there. Squaring your feet forces the elbow to pull out of the pocket. Release has a tendency to pull out as well. Squaring the feet can hurt a shot's accuracy, especially to the right or to the left. Okay, missing short. Boy, this is one that's always, I think, really bothered all of us. It's kind of like that birdie putt. We probably have some really good golfers in this program, but probably most of us have a problem making a whole lot of birdies. But I know when I got a chance to make one, there's nothing worse than leaving it short, right, dead at the hole. Same thing for basketball shooting, right? So easily the number one reason why advanced high school, college, and professional players miss. Some players miss 90% of their shots by leaving it short. Wow. But what leads to that? Okay, and again, maybe if there's nothing we pick up tonight, and I'm learning right along with all of you, maybe if there's nothing we pick up tonight other than maybe just one little nugget about how we can help our players, teach our players how not to shoot it short. Okay, so let's move from telling them you're shooting it short, and a lot of times we use the standard what? Get your legs into the shot. That may or may not be it. I don't know. Maybe you can pull a nugget out tonight. That is my hope. I think that would be really cool if you could. You're going to make a difference in that kid's shot tomorrow, and you're going to make a difference in your team. So what leads to being short? Most coaches tell their players it's due to not enough knee bend. Overbending in the knees only leads to slower and more difficult shots. So, again, are we not bending our knees enough, or are we bending them too much? 90% of the time when a high school, college, or pro player misses short, it's due to shooting straight up and down. Shooting straight up and down forces shoulders and neck muscles to contract, leading to missing the shot short. It makes no sense to shoot straight up and down. Now again, that may be just another one of those things that we've always heard and bought into. Don't float, go straight up, go straight down. This is another thing that we talked about, he and I, not long ago. No one stands straight up and down unless you're in the military, and you don't walk that way, okay? So why should you shoot that way? And he doesn't think that you should. It's his opinion that there's got to be something different going on. He calls it the sweep and sway. He says most players do not shoot straight up and down. The best shooters use a shooting technique called the sweep and sway. As a player shoots, the feet sweep forward, which forces the shoulders to relax. In other words, the shot receives more arch. It's a pretty good picture there, I think, of what Paul's trying to say of Kevin Durant there with his feet forward. Very good picture. And we've got some coaches agreeing with that. That's great. Can you see the sway? And I'll be honest with you, I saw this afternoon and I had no idea what that slide was all about, so I'm going to move on. I'm probably missing something. Okay. Where do coaches get the idea of shooting up and down? Because we hate fading, and many believe if you fade, you will certainly miss. A belief is if you shoot straight up and down, therefore you can't handle a fade. And boy, I'll tell you, that's pretty prevalent to at least the people I've been around in this game. But the turn is next, solution 2. This is, now we're talking about missing the ball short, right? Or missing the shot short. Okay? And again, maybe we can pull out a couple nuggets here. This would be really cool. We can go in the gym and affect kids' shots tomorrow. The turn works well to keep the shot aligned properly, but it also assists in alleviating neck and shoulder pressure. By shooting squared to the basket, both shoulders dig into the shoulder, causing tremendous tension. Allows the shot to fall short on a consistent basis, and I think this picture too of Darren Williams also shows that his feet are ahead of his body, which is a point that he made in solution number 1. The turn, that's a duplicate. Okay. The best players turn their feet when shooting primarily because it feels comfortable. Once again, squaring your feet to the basket causes tension. Try squaring your shoulders and hips, and I think that's a point that he had certainly made earlier, reiterating that. Solution 3, land narrow. There's a belief that a player needs to land wide to get better balance. And let's talk about landing certainly after the shot. Actually, the wider you get, the more off balance you get. So when a player goes up for a shot and comes down and begins to land, how far apart are the feet, and does that affect the shot? And Paul believes that it does. It affects balance tremendously. J.J. Redick. Okay, again, boy, is it good to study great shooters. You know, if you want to start a business, you know, you go read books on people who have been very successful about business. Have your players watch players who can really, really shoot the basketball. I know they'd rather watch dunks, but half of them can't touch a net anyway. So what good is it to watch a dunk contest other than just having some laughs? Great. Go watch great shooters and see what they do. And I'll tell you, if you encourage them to, they might just sit in front of that television and do that. I think it's really a great way to learn. Great shooters generally land narrow. By doing this, you'll notice this becomes an easier way to land while creating less tension in the shoulders and neck region. Landing narrow. All right. Next, the sweep and sway and the turn and landing narrow. You'll discover that your shoulders will start cutting down on missing short. So there's your 3 keys right there. The sweep and sway, the turn, and landing narrow. And when you decrease a way to miss, you increase, certainly, that player's percentage, which is what we're after, right? Okay, with his company, Pro Shot, he uses 3 code words for players to fully understand why they are missing. Now, again, here's I think, the next level in coaching. No matter what we're coaching, in this case it's shooting. Okay, do we have a way to teach the player to do better what we're telling them that they're a little deficient on? And maybe this will help, these code words. Okay, and kids feed off code words. They feed off terminology. I think they really do. So tension is the first one. This is caused by too much shoulder and neck tension, usually from shooting straight up and down. I'll be honest with you, I have never in all my years ever talked to a player about tension in his shoulders while shooting. Interesting. I probably should have been. Extension number 2. So tension, extension. Players miss because they are shooting below the rim. You'll see this happen with younger players, but may see this occasionally with older players as well. Very important to remind each player that they must have their follow-through a few inches above the rim. Interesting. It's a good one. I like that. High finish, high follow-through. And then focus, the third one, the third key word. This is all about the release. Players shooting with 4 fingers down and the ball's rotating off the wrong fingers, or the player's releasing to the side of the basket. And again, this gets back to the finger he talked about earlier. Either way, there's little, if no, shooting focus. Players need to focus on shooting, on putting the finger above the rim and through the rim every time. And I'm kind of halfway, coaches, keeping an eye on the comments down there, and it sounds like we've got a lot of coaches who have either heard Paul, seen him, or seen his, read his book, or watched his videos, and that's awesome. That's great. And so, yeah, continue to share those things. We obviously aren't going to be able to handle any questions because he's not available. But I'll tell you what I want to do. You could do Todd and I a huge favor right now. On your screen is a quick survey. This will take you 10 seconds to take. If I could get all 50 coaches to go ahead and begin to fill this out, please take 10-15 seconds with me right now. How many online clinics have you attended of ours? We're really curious about making this a membership site, coaches. We would really like to have you be a member of Online Basketball Clinics and offer you not only these online clinics, but many, many more coaching resources. And we're really excited about that. But Todd and I thought, well, let's throw it out to the coaches, because we will certainly be able to find out kind of where their temperature is. Great. Boy, appreciate that. That's awesome. And we'll really use that as we get back to you and share those results. Thanks so much for doing that. I think we got a couple more coming in. Great. I don't want to take any more time than that. All right. And again, I'm going to, coaches, in fact, I'm going to do this right now. If you'll hang on, here's what I'm going to do. Down in your chat box, I'm going to give you Paul's email address, and I will also give you his, well, in fact, those are later. I'll give those to you at the end. He's got 2 websites where you can get 2 free ebooks on shooting, and they're fantastic, and they're very detailed. And they're high value, so make sure you get those. But what I'd like to do, just for a second, is I think most of you know about my coaching newsletter, CoachRB newsletter. I've done over 70 of them over the past 3 years, and I just love sharing the game with coaches. I also then created a video website, and it basically in video form is everything I can get my hands on, everything I've experienced, observed, and in my basketball academy now, we tape everything. I had college players this summer, and we did about 24 workouts, and we taped, I mean, everything I can tape, I tape. And what I decided to do, I said, what if I put this in about 30 different categories for coaches, and on the screen are just a few of the categories. Those are only 10. Everything I can find on strategy and late game management, okay, I dump that into my strategy and late game library. Practice planning, anything I've got on that. If you want to see my practice plans from Stetson, our practice plans from Iowa State, Marquette, Arizona, I've got NBA practice plans. Absolutely. I put anything and everything up there. ball handling, shooting. I'll put a bunch of Paul's stuff up on my website. Drills A to Z, plays, and then, of course, offense and defense broken down, skill development. So basically, I've taken my whole life in basketball, guys, and I've kept everything, and I've put it into what I think is a really, really fantastic website, and others do too. And I'll share with you some of the people. There's a Kevin Eastman recommendation there, a coaching buddy of mine who I think is fantastic. But I want everybody to sign up tonight for this free 14-day trial. I want you to look at it for two. I'll promise you right now, you haven't seen anything this detailed, and I'll put my name on it. And I want you to come and take a look at it. And for 2 weeks, I want you to experience all 30 categories. And it's not going to cost you a penny. Come and join the 14-day free trial. Jimmy or Coach Singer or one of you guys, can you type in CoachRB.com/14-day trial for me? And that will be the link, and you guys can just make a note of that and then go to that after this program and get signed up. These are some of the people who think enough about our CoachRB website that have jumped in. USC Trojans, West Virginia, the Celtics, of course, with Coach Eastman. He's got a complimentary membership, and we continue to talk, and he helps me out a bunch. The Chicago Bulls, we know their people, Iowa State, Creighton, Eastern Illinois. This is just a small group, and as you can see, I've shared a lot of information with Gannon Baker and Lassen Perkins and coaches from 30 states in Australia. And I love this now. Believe me, I mean, you can't keep me from adding stuff to this website. I absolutely love it, and I want it to be the vault. I want it to be the greatest resource, and anybody, any coach at any level with any kind of experience could come and have a great time with. So please, that's CoachRB.com, and then go /14-day trial, and do that tonight. Our sponsor is Coach's Eye. Now, Coach's Eye again, and there's their website, and thanks so much to them for sponsoring our program, Sports Video Analysis, and you're able to use drawing tools, and it's really cool. You can take a golf swing, you can take a jump shot, you can take a player batting in baseball, and right on your phone, your gadget, you can break that down for a player. And they've been really good to us. They're sponsoring our program tonight, along with Cisco's video. And if you would, go ahead and go to that site, syskos.com. And Cisco's is fantastic. They give our Coach RB group all kinds of free product, which I use for giveaways. And in fact, tonight I'm going to randomly select someone on this program of those who sign up for the 14-day free trial, and we're going to give away one of the Cisco's videos tonight, a $30 value. So thanks so much to those two. Wanted to mention them again to help us out. Now, here's Paul's information, and if I could get, again, one of my guys to type in both of those websites, and I'm going to go ahead and give you, let me find you Paul's email address. It'll take me just a second. Okay, there you have it. And he would love to hear from me, and I know he is very disappointed that that this didn't work out technologically for him. And you know, I hope I got the information to you in some semblance of order, and it made sense. But please go to focusshooter.com. He's got great products, but there you can go to get those two free ebooks. And ProShotSystem.com. There's his email address. He'll want to hear from you. And again, the value of this, coaches, is that, you know, we're going to bring guests in front of you. We're going to bring the best possible guests that we can bring in front of you. And we also want them to be able to share their contact information with you. Why? So that you can continue to learn from them. And I hopefully won't miss it, and not have somebody on this program who doesn't share the game. I mean, that's always my goal, and that way you guys can follow up and really learn more about whatever it is. And if you've got an idea, I didn't add it to the survey, but if you've got an idea of topics that you'd like us to cover in any of the programs, if you have an idea of a coach you'd like us to have on, by all means, make sure you let us know that. And sky's the limit. Fortunately, in my 20 years in Division I and my 32 or 3 years overall, I'm just really blessed to have met a lot of great people in this game. And so we think we can really attract great guests and to bring great information to this program. So here's what I'd like to do at this point. Thanks so much, and again, thanks to our sponsors. Go to Paul's sites and get that information, and please come aboard, join the club with CoachRB.com, and just go to the website. You can click on that 14-day trial if you just go to the homepage, and come and join me. Believe me, you're going to love what you see, along with all the other folks on the screen. I would like to right now, coaches, I would like to just open myself up for questions, any questions that you might have, and then also let me show you something. And I want to thank you guys for hanging on, because and almost everybody has hung on, because I've got this box, as you can see, called File Share. Now, what File Share is, I have the ability to load any document into this box, and you will then, to the right side, see the word download. All you do is click download and save it onto your desktop or wherever you want to save it, and you've got that document. You're going to have it in 15 seconds. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. The reason I say that is because we just finished a shooting program, certainly, but I have an unbelievable treasure trove, if you would, of materials, clinic notes, just information on anything. And if you give me some requests in the box or ask questions, I'll do my best to multitask here, answer any questions that you might have. And then if there's information you want from me right now, let's throw it up in File Share. In fact, if you've got something that you'd like to share with the group, go ahead and throw that in there too. You just hit Upload File, go find your file, click it, and it's up there for everybody. Okay, so let me keep an eye on this chat box. Matt says Paul Hoover ebook. You know what? I'm quite sure I have both of those. Let me go look. So hang on. Let's have some fun here. Ask some questions, and let's exchange some information. All right, look what I found. Ebook, Pro Shooting Secrets. I have the one. You'll have to go to his website to find the other one. But there's a great one right there for you. Coach T asks, how do you get kids to box out consistently? Well, Coach T, a couple thoughts. Number one, are you teaching it and then emphasizing it? Or level 3, are you demanding it? Are you making them absolutely accountable for boxing out? What I have found in this game is, if the master of all is the master of none. And I've learned that from great coaches. I was blessed to have worked for Lute Olson, Hall of Fame coach at Arizona. But Gary Garner, who had a background with Norm Stewart at Missouri, Coach Garner won a national championship at Division II. He's one of the best basketball coaches I have ever seen, ever had a chance to be with. Told me, you better pick 3 things in this game that you think that combination of those 3 will give you the best chance to win. Make sure those are non-negotiables for your players. Now, are we trying to coach the heck out of the rest of the game? Absolutely. Okay. What area do I feel like, and for me, one of my three is rebounding. All right. And so to answer your question, and again, not knowing the level that you coach, how much practice time you have, what's the age level of your kids, I think you have to determine how important boxing out and defensive rebounding is. If it's somewhat important, then you know what? I think you got to go with guys not blocking out all the time and kind of being frustrated. Because we can tell them to block out. We can all tell them that. But that doesn't mean that they're going to. So that's kind of philosophically, I guess, for me, a great way to approach it. It really is. Learn how to teach it, which I know you know how to teach it. Drill it. And then when you get into your 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, then you have to address it. All right? This whole concept, coaches, of running drills and then going 5-on-5 and wondering where all that teaching went, you're asking them to do about 100 things at once. Okay? Ask them to do a small amount of things to a T. And if boxing out in defensive rebounding is one of yours, then awesome. That's awesome. And go for it. And you'll be a really, really good rebounding team. I'll just tell you that, again, I had the pleasure of coaching with Larry Eustace at Iowa State. Larry's teams at Idaho, Larry's teams at Utah State, Iowa State, Southern Miss, and now Colorado State were some of the best rebounding teams in the country. And why? If you ever came to see us practice, you'd know why. We not only drilled it like crazy, but we made our guys accountable everything we did in a 3-hour practice. Up and down, drills, you name it. And that's why we were good. There's just kind of no mystery to it, really. And so, pick your poison, make it a non-negotiable, and then do the best job you can with the rest of the game. So, Coach T, I hope I helped you out there. Coach Sapp, do I have anything on triangle offense and press breaks? I certainly do. Let me, just give me a second here. Let me go look. In fact, I'm going to send you to a website that one of my coaches directed me to. In fact, Jimmy's on the phone. Can you put that link up for Coach Sapp and any of the other coaches? That's ironic because just the other night we talked. One of the coaches asked if I had, and I do have some information on Tex Winter. In fact, I'll go throw that in the box too. But Jimmy had this site, the Triangle Offense.blog spot, and it's pretty darn good. And so, give me a second. Continue to ask your questions, coaches. Give me a second, and let me go fetch some Tex Winter things and see what I have on press offense. Yeah, I just threw an article up there, actually, just talking about kind of his philosophy and how much he loved that offense, Coach Winter. And just pulling up some, I'm just going to pop these in there, guys. I really, a lot of times I'm sent information that I simply do not get a chance to digest, but I have a folder for any part of the game you can ever imagine. So I'm going to... there's a cutter press break, run and jump, and then a zip offense press break. And I'm putting all those up for you. So there's 3. A simple offense against man-to-man. We now kill zones, thanks to Paul. But man-to-man, I need something real easy to learn. Well, I've got some ideas for you. In my opinion, and again, check the chat box, Nick. Appreciate the question. Check the chat box because coaches, if you have some ideas, it could be a link to a website, it could be your email address. If you have this information, or just say you're going to throw it up on the file share, that's great. Okay, and I'll help, but jump in there too. Yes, I think, Nick, I think the best way, first of all, to teach kids how to play is a simple pass and cut and fill. If you watch West Virginia, Coach Huggins, since way back when he was at Akron, okay, has passed, cut, and filled. Passed, cut, and filled. And not only is it a pretty simple, it's a very simple offense, but things like getting open, being able to pass, spacing, cutting, understanding when to bounce it, when not to bounce it. Every skill for offense, to me, is covered in the pass and cut. I just love the offense. There are, I'll tell you, Layson Perkins through full court basketball and Basketball Sense has an excellent open post is another thing that another name for pass and cut. Open post, so you don't have a post player in there clogging things up. In my opinion, Coach, that's the way I would go. I really would. Now, I think the thing with offense, the hazard with offense, I believe a lot of times, coaches, is that we give them too much. And it's, believe me, a confused player is a bad player. Okay, if you're confused and frustrated, you can't execute. There's just no way. And so, are we giving them too much on offense? And so, I love the question because, and honestly, it doesn't. I don't think it matters. Elementary, rec ball, junior high, high school. Like I say, Coach Huggins runs it at West Virginia. It's good. It's open post offense. There it is. As I'm talking here, I'm just looking for it, guys. Okay, I've got part 1 and 2 from Coach Huggins. And I'm going to throw, I put together a pretty extensive diagram package also. There's Coach Ken Sartini, open post ideas. I'm going to throw that in there because I know that's good. And I'm going to throw 3 of my documents in there. Open post information, open post rules and diagrams, and then teaching progression. So there you go. We're rolling now. Got a bunch of stuff in there for you. See, it was worth showing up just to wait till the end to get all the nuggets. Harry Paretta's offense. Yes, definitely. Make sure you get that. Grab everything. You can always look at it later. Any other questions, coaches? Anything? I'm really, in my post-coaching life, I have really gone back to my roots. When I was 18 and 19 and began coaching for the first time and thought I knew everything and really hardly knew anything about the game, and I certainly didn't know how to teach the game, break it down and teach the game. And that's what's been refreshing. When you step away from a team and the tunnel vision that you have from coaching, it is amazing. I've witnessed how the game opened up to me and how I began to see things so much clearer. And I fell in love with teaching the game again. And in our Skill Development Academy, we started with, I use as a foundation for our Skill Academy is what I call the 40 skill checklist. And it's a list of skills. And I would encourage you, if you're a high school coach or lower, I would encourage you to develop your program's skill set. Okay, what is the skill set that you're teaching? You certainly can't teach every skill. You just can't. If you try to, you're going to be really, really average at all of them. But take your skill set and water it down. So you high school coaches on the call, okay, do you have a skill set that your 5th grade coach has bought into and knows how to teach? So that when he moves those kids to 6th grade, the 6th grade coach also has that knowledge and understanding. He's willing to now reiterate what the 5th grade coach did, move them on to 7th grade. Okay, are we all learning out of the same blueprint? In other words, boy, I'll tell you what, it only makes sense. And so, have you adopted a skill set? What is it? How do you teach it? And what are the drills you use? Okay, to teach those, and use them as a program builder. The best high school coaches that I've been around, and I love going to high school practices and watching high school coaches do what they do best, and that's teach the game. And I will tell you, I have seen so many of these guys that have it down to a T, and just in terms of the skills, their footwork is good. They know how to play away from the basketball, rebounding. Being able to defend the post is all really solid. Well, that doesn't happen in a vacuum when those kids become seniors. And I'm going to go get my 40 skills checklist for you. Would just highly encourage you. I just don't know how you can run a program and have consistency without having a consistent set of skills that your coaches know how to teach and your players can execute. Let's see. There we go. 40 skills checklist. Full court trap press. Let me go look, Herman. Let me go take a look. Jimmy says, what kind? Anybody else? If you guys have anything along those lines that you can get your hands on here quick, anything on full court trap press, let's go to work on that. And I'll take a look right now. All right, I put 2 up there. And again, understand, because of the massive amount of resources I have not previewed everything. So please understand that, because I just sent a 221 zone press. Just looking for something else I may have. Got an awful lot of pack line stuff. That seems to be the thing. Triangle and 2, triangle and 2. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that for you. Let's see. There's one more. Did I have the... I'll throw that zone press in there. There we go. Nope, same one. Let me go get the other one for you. That is called 212 press. All right, very good. Can you upload tonight's slides? You sure can. You absolutely can. In fact, I've got it in a PowerPoint, Coach Mathias. And here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to send me an email and remind you, anybody else that's on the call with us, if you would like a copy of the PowerPoint, and that way you can go through each slide on your own. Just send me an email and request that, and I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you here tonight, probably. And here's my email. Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because I certainly do. And again, everybody will receive a link to the recording. You'll be able to go back and view all that again, if you would like. continuity ball screen offense. Believe I do, Jim. Hang on. I just loaded up the Indiana Hoosiers pick and roll offense on a PDF, and I've got a couple others for you here too. Wow, there's a bunch of them there. There's one called the best ball screen offense I've seen lately. And y'all take a look and see what that's all about. Let me go grab another one. I think I've actually got a whole, it looks like a whole catalog of them, but they're divided into options. So there's lots of them. The screen and roll Auburn Diamond offense, I just threw in there. So, and then if, on top of anything else anybody else might have thrown in there. I see somebody mentioned Don Showalter's 1211 Full Court Press DVD. Don Showalter, a high school basketball coach in the state of Iowa, is one of the greatest ambassadors of this game that you'll ever find. Don has taken it way beyond coaching high school basketball. He's highly involved in our coaching association here, the IBCA. He also coached the 16 and under USA national team in world competition in Jamaica this summer. So he works quite a bit for USA basketball. He's been the head coach of the McDonald's All-American team. He's been just about everywhere and done it. And he's a terrific person and a heck of a basketball coach. And he's someone that we're going to certainly have on this program because he's seen it all and done it all. And I'll tell you what, he's working his way up within the USA basketball. And don't be surprised if he's on the staff for the 17 unders and maybe someday coaching the Olympics. He's that kind of guy. So, yes, anything that you can find on Don Showalter, by all means, is going to be very good. Any other requests? We've still got 40 coaches hanging in there. Any other requests for any kind of resources or any questions that you all might have? And Jimmy says he's got some on-ball stuff too. So there's a lot of on-ball out there. Oh, out of the 1-4 high, yeah. Okay, we've got notes from Don Showalter's USA practices. Fantastic. Force Larson run and jump. I can look, Ito, but I don't think so. But let me go look. Run and jump. No, it doesn't look like I do. If somebody else has anything out there on Coach Larson, feel free to throw that up in the box. Nope. Yeah, appreciate it, Nick. I did my best on the improv. I'm certainly no expert in shooting and would never try to fake that one. So, Forrest Larson run and jump notes. Any good baseline up? Now I can send a bunch of plays, Phil, if that's what you want. I mean, I can send more than you could ever look at, but I'll certainly do that if that's what you want. Specifically in terms of like my three favorites, I don't have. but I would certainly be able to get you just a mass of them if that's what you'd like. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate the comment. Absolutely, and that's what we're here for. Love this game. Seth is posting a bunch of notes. There's John Wooden's press 221. That was fairly effective, wasn't it, as far as I remember? Baseline out favorites. Boy, I don't have anything I can point to be honest with you. And Jimmy's got information on Coach Hurley's zone. Let me just go look, Coach, on this out of bounds thing. Let me just go look. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Coach. I am going to load about 10 documents, and each page there's a play. And I'll give you a little quick history on this. And I remember now that I had these. Coach McDermott at Creighton is a very good friend of mine, an Iowa guy also. We've known each other a long time. And before the NCAA tournament last year, and it was kind of funny because he's a guy that has 1,000 plays. And he's got away from a lot of his set plays, but he used to have a catalog. I mean, like he was an NFL coach. It was just ridiculous. So I make fun of him all the time. And so he gets a hold of me right before the NCAA tournament started, and he says, I need a new side out of bounds. I need a new baseline out of bounds. And I said, you got more plays than, you know. So I put together, I went in and I really looked long and hard at a lot of the stuff that I had, and I did pull out some stuff. So maybe something in there that I just loaded in there, Coach, will answer your question. And then I carefully watched Creighton and didn't see any of my plays, and I'm telling you, he heard about it. I mean, I just run one of them, I said. Come on. Put me to work, and then none of my plays scored a basket. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 documents right there. Should be a bunch of plays for you. Hopefully something will help in there. There's a link that Jimmy left for Coach Hurley's offense. And, okay, so that's just a copy and paste there for everybody. Know any staffs out there who run Princeton? We really seem to be getting away from that. And I know a lot of people still do, certainly. But, boy, it just seems like, the game is trends. We went from the flex to we went from Coach Knight's motion and evolved into, other forms of motion and the swing offense and flex. And now, of course, everything's almost ball screen oriented, almost everything. So it changes, but there was a huge Princeton push here for a long time when Coach Corral was beating people in the NCAA tournament. It's still out there. University of Louisiana Lafayette runs Princeton. And, certainly Coach Carmody at Northwestern does too. Brian, thanks for that. Well, this is fantastic, guys, and I could certainly sit here all night and do this, but I think for the sake of time, for everybody, I will end this program, and then I'll do some editing and get this ready for you to watch on a recorded version. Thanks again so much for joining us. This game's about sharing and getting better, and you guys are the hardcores. You guys, you're going to win a game this year that you probably shouldn't win because you were here tonight and you're exchanging great information with other coaches, and that's what it's all about. All your comments in the chat box, I appreciate them so much. And my business partner, Todd, couldn't be here tonight, but he will watch a recording. He will appreciate those also. And, you know, you can do us a favor by spreading the word. If you have coaching buddies, they've probably never seen anything like this. They probably don't have any idea anything like this exists. Make sure that they make sure that they either email me or they go to onlinebasketballclinics.com and they can sign up and register, and they will get information on every online clinic that we ever do. And so spread the word. You can really help us with that, to spread the word. And we are going to start having some great guests, and that's probably the reason that that we're looking at a membership site, just because of the quality of guests and information that we're going to be able to deliver. Not that tonight wasn't good for everybody, but we're looking that way. So thanks for your feedback. That was good. Coach Bortz, thank you, and hopefully we'll see you down the road sometime. I'm sure we will. We're up here at Gilbert and in Ames, so I'm sure we'll see you. Thanks for coming on, and everybody else, thanks for coming. I'm going to close this down, and go ahead, and if you still need to download, I won't quit the program. I'm just going to stop the recording because I got to myself go in and record a bunch, download a bunch of things. So, yeah, Carlos, yeah, I'll leave it up for a half hour, okay, and let you download the rest of it. Thanks so much. You guys are awesome, and let's keep doing it, and let's keep sharing this game. Thanks, guys.